So, what did you miss at Jubilee today? Anne's back, choir's back, Daniel's back, uh, and people were back. We were full. Boy, oh boy, um, what a great day. We celebrated communion, where we came together as one, recognizing the table brought to us by the Holy One, God who is known as one. That oneness, that connection, we celebrated that today. In the face of celebrating that oneness, we celebrated a psalm. We listened to the gospel where Jesus says, "Where two or three are gathered in my name." That same gospel where Jesus says, if you have a problem with somebody in the church, then talk to them directly. If that doesn't work, then go and bring some witnesses and confront them. And if that doesn't work, then bring them in front of the whole church. And if they still don't get it, then treat them as you would a Gentile or a tax collector. And let that be for the moment. We celebrated a psalm. It was joyous. It was wonderful. And yet, then there's this line in the midst of tambourines and celebrating the Lord's presence. There is the promise of bringing a two-edged sword to the throat of the nations. And we all agree there are people that, frankly, we would like to pass a little judgment on, and we would like to have bound in fetters, as per the psalm, and the two-edged sword seems like a pretty good idea some days. Until we recognize that in the context of the psalm, the Hebrews, the people of Israel, were referring to the nations as those who were not really fit for God, out of God's favor, out of God's purview. To them, we need to take the two-edged sword. That's us, the Gentiles. And suddenly we don't like that so much. We love when we get to be the us. We hate to be them. Who's the them that we don't like? Well, in that psalm, it's actually us who is them. We talked a little bit about how we divide the world up into the us and them, and we all know who them are. Those people, them. We don't want to be with them. We don't want to associate with them. God has no time for them. We have no time for them, and the world would be better if we got rid of them. The psalm that we celebrated, 149, I think. Look it up. And Jesus seems to support the same thing. If somebody is in your way, then confront them. And if they don't get it, then bring witnesses. If they don't get it, then bring them to the church. If they don't get it, get rid of them. Either get on track or get out of town. Us, them. You're either in, you're out. That's what it feels like. Except for that little line where Jesus says, if they still don't get it, treat them as you would a Gentile or a tax collector. Who likes tax collectors? And we heard in the psalm what we think about Gentiles. But then we have to ask ourselves, how did Jesus treat Gentiles and tax collectors? He ate with them. He danced with them. He listened to them. He spoke to them. He engaged with them. He lived with them. He loved them. And you realize that Jesus is playing around with us a little bit and inviting us to let go of the us and them mentality, the inside outside, and recognize that our place is always going to be with them, because that's where Jesus is. All through the Gospels, when you read stories, there are people in the back rolling their eyes going, oh my God, Jesus is with them? Yeah. Jesus is with them because us and them don't exist for Jesus. Jesus recognizes all of us as brothers and sisters, children of God, one family brought to the table by the Holy One, recognizing there is no separation. Your pain is my pain. My joy is your joy. It's when we keep trying to divide the world up into us and them, those who deserve and those who don't, that we mess up. Wars are created by us and them. Injustice, inequity, that's created by us and them. And Jesus is inviting us to imagine a world where the people that make us crazy, the people who have hurt us, the people with whom we cannot get along, that their punishment should be that we eat with them and talk with them and dance with them. And well, if you ever see me dance, you appreciate that is a punishment. But that's not what Jesus means. He means that we live with them and that we listen and respect each other and work very hard at discovering that we are one, just like we celebrate at the table today. We are one, just as we try to be every day as we open our arms, our hearts a little wider and recognize that indwelling God, that spirit that binds us together. We're one. That's what you missed at Jubilee today, but please know that we missed you too, and that even when you're not with us, you are with us in our hearts, because we are together, one family, children of God, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Until we do, God bless.